This conference will now be recorded.
Now I think we're on track. All right. So, um, how's your stuff going, Daniel?
It's good. I've got my whole shop area set up, ready to go. I got the 8-inch Infinity Cloud line installed, going out to like an 8-inch dryer duct
Hmm.
on the shop. I've got a desk set up. I've got a kind of storage unit set up beside it where I'm keeping supplies in, and
Right.
got my 20 amp plug ran to it. Um, I got shop air ran over with 2 dryers in line, so
Hmm.
should be pretty good shape. I guess I'm just waiting for delivery. I got my rotary last week and talked to Rebecca a few days ago, and I should be getting my camera, I think. But yeah, should
Gotcha.
be ready
So
to rock
yeah,
and roll.
just the waiting game. Sounds like you've been doing your homework, so that's good.
Yes, sir.
So you
Yes,
got any
sir.
questions about anything while we got you? I mean, if you think of something, just jump right in. But
Yeah, I don't think so. I've done a lot of the reading. I've went over the cheat sheet a lot. I've looked at all the resources online. I think Thunder, you and Thunder have done a really great job at setting all the documents up and kind of having it in line of what you need to do. So I think it's gonna be good. I
right.
think may have more once I get it in place, but right now I'm pretty good on it. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, man. Cool. Cool.
Thanks.
All right. Um, so it looks like we got some new people on here. So anybody, just feel free to jump in whenever you like. Hey, John, good to see you on here.
Which John?
That you're the only one I
Me.
can see right at the moment.
Ah, okay.
That's right. We do have. There we go. Yep, two Johns. So this year is your first
This is my
webinar, I
first
think.
live webinar. Yeah, I've been watching quite a few,
Mhm.
and actually, today I'm officially Thunder family. I
Nice.
pulled the trigger this morning.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, man. What'd you go for?
The Nova 24 60 watt.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, do you have any questions? Are you just gonna hang out and
I'm
see
just
how
gonna
things
hang
go?
out. I probably won't be here long. When my wife gets in from work, we've got to go vaccinate alpacas. So
Gotcha. All right. All right. Well, glad you could join us. So,
good to be
Steve,
here.
good to see you on here, man.
Hey, Brian.
How you?
I'm great. Just waiting.
Yeah, I know. That's the story, isn't it?
Oh,
It'll
it's
drive
okay.
it'll
Rebecca,
drive
sent
you
me
crazy.
yeah, Rebecca sent me my light burn keys this morning, so I'm just
Okay.
waiting.
All right. All right. Well, if anybody else has anything, feel free to jump in. I was looking to see what our backup topic might be. Uh, I don't think anybody's recommended any. So, hey, Joanne, how are you?
I'm good. I know that there was some patterns and there's a few out on the website, but is there like a community type thing or where they share a lot of ideas, different ideas, what to
Um,
make?
yeah, a lot of that stuff happens just on the Facebook groups, from what I can tell. The Global Thunder users, and there's also the Hustle and Burn. I don't know if you've seen that group. They're more into the design and business end of it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, the design, it's Hustle and Burn Laser Group, and they talk a little bit more about what to make, and different vertical markets and how much to charge for things, more of that kind of discussion in that one. That's one that I can think of right off the top of my head. So maybe that'll be a resource. As far as like file repositories where people share, that's just one of those deals, where you just kind of do that information just over the regular social channels. And there's a file section in a lot of the groups, where people contribute, things like that if you're looking for design ideas and templates and that kind of thing as well. So those are usually a pretty good resource. So, um, so do you have your machine yet, or are you still looking, or?
Nope, mine is supposed to be here at the beginning of May, and
Okay,
we're desperately hoping it would come sooner, but we've got
gotcha.
jobs already sold and product here waiting to be engraved. So
All right. Well, you'll be ready to take off right out of the gate then. So,
yeah,
all
we
right. Well,
probably
if you
can't set that thing up soon enough.
well, if you have anything in the meantime, just give us a shout. We'll be glad to help any way we can. So,
Okay,
All right. Let's see. Do we have any other new people on? Looks like Danny, you're not too new. But if you have anything, just shout. I don't have a curriculum. Let me go back and look at the backup topic. Now, have you guys seen, you might have seen some talk. I put that video out about doing the photos in Lightburn. Chris Lacazio and then Grant and I sat in, while he did that thing. And you might have seen some of that new stuff in the new version of Lightburn coming out, the adjustment window or the, hold on, let me pull it up here. The, should pop up. No, not that one. I need Lightburn. It's running a little slow with my video. And this will be a huge deal, and hopefully it won't be too much longer. Let me pull it over here where you can see it. There we go. So like if we want to bring an image in, actually let me import. I'll just bring, I don't know what I've got here. Oh, there's a picture of a laser. Okay, that'll work. So that comes in as an image, and you still have your shape properties over here, which is how we're manipulating them now. But you'll be able to right click and go here to adjust image, and then you'll see a before and an after, and you can make all your adjustments here and see it in real time as you do it. So you can kind of visualize what you're doing with it, and it's the same kind of settings that are over here. You can choose your dithering mode or whether it's going to be grayscale or whatnot, and a bunch of other things. But I think this is going to be a huge improvement, being able to look at the original versus really dialing in and seeing what some of these things do when you change some of the settings. It's a lot more intuitive than just looking at this little shape properties tab here. So that's coming soon, so that's going to be neat. Probably a few more little things there.
Roughly.
What's that?
When are we going to be able to use that feature?
Whenever they come out with version 9.21, they'll make announcements, and then whenever that happens, we usually make an announcement on some of the social groups too, as soon as we know that there's a new release out.
And then that'll just be like an update or whatever on our existing one.
Yeah, I mean, you can go in and check for updates, and it'll let you know. You might even get a jump on it. If you go up there every couple of days and hit that button, you might catch it right when they release it. So, let's see. And I'm trying to clear my screen off here. There we go. But yeah, that's just one of the things that's coming. So hopefully that won't be much longer. Does anybody else have any questions about anything? This might be a light session.
Hey, Brian, I've got a question on which I haven't got my laser yet, but the pass through on it, someone said the pass through is like 7/8 of an inch or a little less than an inch. Is that correct?
Yeah, 0.08 inches, I think is what they spec it. And you can actually, I measured mine, and physically you can fit something almost 1.5 inches through there. The problem is the gantry sits lower in your nozzle and all that stuff. So once you get above that 0.8, you're not able to get the head over the material, to be able to even pull a focus on it or be able to maintain a focus. So that's really the limitation is on the height is being able to get underneath the head still.
Mm-hmm. And you have to take the honeycomb bed out and just put it on the knife bed to do pass through. Is that right?
No, the pass through just sits right on the frame.
On the frame, okay.
Yeah, with the honeycomb and or the blade system on a 24, you can go 6.1 inches thick. I think that's what it is, and that may be with the honeycomb out. I don't remember if that's with the honeycomb in or out, but you can get a pretty good amount of depth. Right. But the pass through, it'll sit right on the frame, and it'll be a finite, level. So.
Okay, cool. That's all I think of.
All right.
DroX too, Brad, and I want to think about, I got my camera, the new one you sent me in the mail there, and I hooked it up and all as well, so.
I'm sorry, your volume's a little low. Could you repeat that? Sorry.
I don't- Can you hear me now?
A little bit. It's just a little weak, but I think I can pull you out.
Okay, I don't know where my mic is on my new computer.
I'm sorry, I still couldn't hear you. It sounds like you're way far away from the microphone. You may need to get a little closer. So. I'm not sure if he said how to add Lightburn or add the device to another computer. Yeah.
How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you. It still sounds like you're in a barrel, but that's kind of weird. It may be my surround. I may need to turn some of my stuff off.
I'm sure it's mine. I think it's because I got the microphone must be on my tower on my new computer.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All this. No big deal.
Wow. I'm not even going to make it 15 minutes into this one.
All right, I got a question.
Awesome. What you
All
got?
right, so people are getting all these like California compressors and things like that. And my guess is compressors are good for when you're doing deep burns and things like that of wood and things like that. However, you know my story. I'm doing plastic labels.
Mhm.
Is something like that really necessary?
Probably not if you're just doing like, aren't you doing the duets or something like that?
No, just the laminate, like doing the plastic label, white background, blue for front, like you find on your door tag or
And-
whatever.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of like the duets or the dual color. I think Thunder China calls it the two color board.
Yes.
I don't think you might want to ask somebody that's actually done it. I've done a few tests on a couple of pieces, but I really don't think that's going to be along the lines of acrylic. And if you're not cutting this stuff, or even if you are, if it's, an 1/8 inch thick or, 2.5 millimeters thick or something like that, you ought to be able to pop through that stuff without much trouble. I don't know that you would necessarily need an external compressor for that particular substrate with what you're doing. I don't see why you couldn't use the stock pump for that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and then if you had an air source, even if it was a loud old shop compressor that you had laying around, you could connect it and see if you can affect more of a positive change. And then even if it's not an ideal compressor, and then if it's something you think may be beneficial, you could always look at a different compressor or something if you wanted to.
And then do you need the little the separator?
Yeah, we do recommend a water separator, and usually that's in the form of a regulator that's got a dryer on it, at least a single stage, just because that's what's readily available with the regulator built in. But we do like to see that as close to the input of the air line on the back of the machine as possible. And I've got mine up front, so there's an extra foot or two, but you want to get it as close to the laser as possible, because any moisture that gets in that air system and gets deposited on that lens, condensate will kill that lens. It won't take very long, and you'll have a critical failure. So that's really the whole reason for it, and to maintain the 40 psi max, which is what we are recommending now. And let's see. I made a new article and I need to
All
find
right, I
it.
got a question.
Okay, go for it.
All right, hopefully you can hear me.
I can.
am vacillating between I'm trying to decide what wattage I want or need. I really don't cut. I just want to engrave. I want the finest squat, just engraving I can get with the biggest bed size. So my logic says buy 100, but the majority of what I see are people with the 60s, whatever.
Okay.
What do you recommend?
Well, yeah, you faded out just a little bit, but I think I get it. And that's a question that a lot of people ask. You know, there's no reason why 100 watt wouldn't be able to dial down and do what you want it to do. If I was doing really fine work, tiny rubber stamps, you know, things like that, or high resolution engravings on anodized aluminum, business cards or something like that, for instance, I would personally prefer an 80 watt machine just because I've got a little better control over that low end. And that's usually what I'm using, like if I'm surface engraving, cast acrylic or something like that, which is most of the kind of things that I do. I do mostly natural woods if I make anything at all in acrylics. So I think the 80's fine, and I'm not in a production environment. So if it takes me a couple minutes longer to cut through a piece of 1/2 inch oak or something, I don't mind losing that time. You know what I mean? So if you're in a production environment where you need to put out a certain number of those and that really affects your ROI, I'd probably go with a little higher power. But if you're wanting to do fine quality engraving, I'd stick to a 100 or even an 80. Even the Nova 24, you know, they'll if you need them to cut 1/2 inch, they'll cut 1/2 inch like butter. They're just a little slow. It sounds like you want a lot of control. What kind of substrates are you going to be working with?
Mostly wood, slate, little stuff, and time matters to me.
Okay. All right. And how much of that's going to be cutting? I know you said most of it was engraving, but that could also mean you want to engrave key change and then also cut them out, you know. Any insight as to?
I haven't really.
Go ahead.
Honestly, I think I need to call you. I'm losing audio and back and forth.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll text you in the private chat in this thing, my number, or I'll just put it out there. And you can give me a call after this if you want, and we can talk about it if you like.
Okay.
Real quick. Yeah, we'll just do that. Let's see. I gotta find my number. I'll just post it in the chat. It's not secret. So, go. All right. Hey, Jeremy, how are you, man?
Doing good. How are you, Brian?
Awesome, hanging in there. I just crawled out from behind my Nova 35. My power supply came in today. Someone needed one more than I did, so I pulled the one out of mine and sent it off. So I'm just now getting it up and running again.
Fine customer support again, Brian.
Yeah, I kind of missed my laser this time, but we've got a bunch.
It'll be the one time you want to use it, right? Is when you don't have your supply. Every other time you talk about, I haven't turned it on in a few days.
Right. That's typically the way it works. So anyway.
All right. Yeah. So to the guy that was chatting, I joined a bit late. I didn't hear all that, but I think you guys were having similar conversation about higher power benefits versus lower power and speed and capabilities. I bought a 51-130. I've not found anything that I couldn't do detail wise with the higher resolution head, right, in terms of more of the detail, and it cuts phenomenally well, right? And you get the speed to go with the cutting as well. So it's when you're talking details, right? Everyone may not have the same level of high resolution or detail, right? It cuts and engraves so fine to where I'm staring at it with a magnifying glass over my phone, zoomed in on the picture to see some of the details. Right? So it's not like you're going to get a noticeable difference in terms of the level of quality. Even with the 130 on the larger machine, it's still phenomenal detail.
Yeah, sometimes it's a hard choice. So.
Can we talk about temperatures? Like, I live in Minnesota, so 1 minute it'll be 60 degrees here, and the next day it's 30.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's just this week.
Right.
So, like, as far as, you know, how cold can that machine get to, you know, I mean, moisture, you know, I mean, obviously in a garage, you're going to have a little bit of moisture issues when that weather's changing.
Sure.
I mean, what are the things that I need to be aware of? We are having somebody come for, you know, do AC and, you know, heating and air conditioning and look at the situation, but I want to have some facts before he comes.
Gotcha. So the venting may be something that you want to look at. You'll definitely want on your exhaust. Let me pull that screen up. You'll definitely want, you know, a dampered or a louvered exhaust of some sort, either that or a blast gate, so that you can shut that off. You know, some people in real cold climates put the blast gate on there anyway, just as secondary. You know, at night they'll close it, you know, to keep any cool air, you know, to help mitigate that cold air from coming in the exhaust system. As far as ambient temperatures go, ultimately, if you're comfortable, your laser's comfortable. They like 70 and sunny and mild, just like we do. Will it run in adverse conditions? Yeah, I run mine in 90-degree weather, and there's, you know, condensation dripping off, not of the machine, but you can tell that the humidity is pretty high, and that's usually not too big of a problem. One thing is there's two different modes that these chillers can run in, and they default to intelligent mode. And so when you first put your machine together and turn it on, it's going to be in intelligent mode, and it assumes that you're going to be in a somewhat climate controlled environment, because what it'll do is keep the chiller water within 5 degrees plus or minus of whatever the ambient temperature is. Well, obviously, if it's 90 degrees in there, you don't want it to be between 85 and 95. So you'd want to set to a constant set point, and we've got some documentation about that on there. And you definitely, most importantly, don't want it to freeze ever, ever, ever. Not the chiller or the laser or the tube. So you'll definitely want to keep, you know, a heater. In Tennessee, I'm sure it's not nearly as brutal as it can be with what you're looking at. But on the coldest nights, I'm in an attached garage, and I'll just run a little space heater at night, and I haven't had any trouble. But, what's that? Oh, I thought somebody said something. But I would have a louvered, you know, I can link this sheet if you've not seen it, because there's some links to some of this stuff in here too. I'll put it in the chat for that page. But that's the louver that I got, or the damper, and it does have, I think it's got a weighted damper. Some of them are weighted, and some of them have had springs on them. And the ones that have springs on them tend to get corroded, and the spring weakens or breaks, and then it doesn't close all the way. So I like the gravity weighted damper. And yeah, this one has the weighted damper. So I hope that helped. And then, you know, if as far as that set point stuff goes, let me go back to the portal. If anybody's interested in that, you can just go look under the chiller stuff, and I think it's constant set point, and it'll tell you here how to select between those. And then there's some discussion on the differences here. So, and I can link to one of those too, so you can find it easier. I hope that kind of answered your question, but you know, ultimately you can't let it freeze. Now, if you need to use an antifreeze or something like that, it's typically not recommended, but you can. So if it's a situation where you can't keep it heated, you'll either need to drain it or provide some sort of antifreeze solution into the mix, you know, to help mitigate that cold if you think you're gonna run into it.
Yeah, we'll probably have constant heat out there. I mean,
Okay.
for right now, I mean, that's why we're bringing him in to look at
Gotcha.
the situation. But is it gonna, like, when it gets that change of year, is that gonna affect the mirrors at all, or not
The only
necessarily?
Not necessarily. These things are pretty robust. I mean, I have seen them get enough condensation in them only in 2 cases. One, it was just the humidity was so high and there was condensate dripping off the tube into the electronics bay, and you don't want stuff like that. There's 30,000 volts running through that tube. And the other time, somebody had an air conditioner set, and it was the opposite thing. They had a air conditioner malfunction, or somebody set it down to like 60 degrees in the building, and it was 100 degrees outside, and that exhaust vent came in and gave enough temperature differential that there was condensate dripping from the inside of the DSP controller, like on the inside of the panel. So it waterlogged the whole machine. But typically we don't see that. I've only seen 2 instances of that ever. So.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And let me make sure. Okay, I'm not sharing my screen. Let's see. Does anybody else have any questions or comments or anything? Feel free to jump in. I'm still going to go back here and look and see if I have any recommendations. All right. Well, I guess everything's working. Jeremy's coming in here to save me. I saw his microphone come on.
So it was a tough crowd this week. Right? There's been a lot of times where we thought you might have to end it early, and then you always right up and shut it down after an hour. So.
Right. I'm gonna go in here and see if anybody has left any backup topic suggestions. I guess that means everything's running smoothly too. Let's see, there's the responses. Nope. We don't even have a backup. Well, I guess if nobody has any problems, I don't really have anything. I didn't prepare today because I was knee deep in a power supply. Steve, I see you popping on here. You got something for us?
No, I'm just waiting, like we talked about earlier. I just wanted to say hi.
All right, man.
I tell you what, Joe Wayne was asking about files.
Okay.
I can give her a site that's on the Glowforge forums, and this guy is really a good artist. It's called Spin Customs on Etsy.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, this guy has some fantastic files, and he'll run 15 or 25% off every once in a while. You just gotta log on to his site, but he's on Etsy.
Gotcha. I just linked it and sent it in the text.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the heads up.
Yeah, that's a decent one. Another site, there's a website called Design Bundles. I think it's a .net rather than a .com, but they a lot of times they'll bundle a lot of different SVG files or DXF files, and then they are partnered with fontbundles.net, so you can go pick up different fonts. So you can pick up more of the script type fonts that are all connected and better to cut out with lasers. I've bought quite a few of those. I don't know if the laser design bundle is still on sale right now. I think it might have expired earlier in the week. Click on the bundles there, Brian. On the top left, are you in the bundles?
What? Where?
That first tab on the left.
Yeah, the one that says bundles.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so if you go look, so Funny, the Megacraft, so the Magical Monogram one's a decent one. I've got it, and it's got quite a few different monograms in it. But yeah, they run different bundles. If you like them on Facebook, they'll overload your Facebook with targeted advertising, so you never miss out.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I've used them for in the past, but thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let me pop this back off. There we go. Now I can see again. Well, guys, I don't really have anything else, and I suppose it's not bad to kick off early. I could probably actually get back to putting my laser back together and fire that sucker up and get to run it for a minute. Unless anybody has any suggestions or comments or other questions.
Oops, Mike just sent one in the chat.
Oh, okay, there we go. New computer to run Lightburn. Yeah. It is Mac compatible, and it's also Linux compatible. And it should work the same across all platforms. Oh, no problem, man. I got you. So, but yeah, you'll be good whether you want to use a PC or Mac, and you don't have to have some super sweet fast machine. I don't know that I would go get a $200, laptop from Walmart off the pallet, on sale, because they typically run very, very slow just because of the energy and all that. But any decent mid-level PC should be fine. Unless you're going to couple that with some extra design software like Corel or do any stuff like that, you may want to look at their specifications to make sure you got enough oomph for that as well. Jeremy may have some input on that. I think he's looked through some of those.
Yeah, so I bought a dedicated little miniature desktop that I've got mounted to the laser, and just got a monitor on the wall that's plugged in. And then I've actually got a Mac as well as a Windows laptop I use designing, so I'm not, but when I go to use it on the laser, I'll either email a file or put it on Dropbox or, share it on the network and then pull it down from the machine connected directly to the laser. And I bought a $400 and something Lenovo all-in-one, desktop that's a little bit larger than an iPhone. It's mounted there, and it comes with a Windows license, keyboard, mouse, everything ready to go, and it's phenomenally. It works really well and impressive spec for what it is.
Right. But yeah, and Lightburn is surprisingly light. It's surprisingly lightweight for what it does. So it does a good job across most of those platforms. So cool beans. So. Well, all right. I guess I'll cut this one off a little bit early. Typically we go a little over, so I don't guess that's a bad thing. And yeah, I'll give you a call. I got your message before I go back to my power supply, and we can talk about your stuff also. So, does anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I got one last question.
Sure.
Okay, I've already got Corel on my computer, and I know weeks ago we were talking about Lightburn Micro. Does it automatically, when you install Lightburn, does it automatically put the micro?
No, but it doesn't. But if you'll run up here into the help section,
okay,
you'll see CorelDRAW macro setup help. And
gotcha.
I believe that's a PDF that's embedded actually into the file system. And you'll also find in there the copy of what it's talking about. And it's got the directions on how to set it up right here.
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
All right, that's easy.
Yep. So right there in the help section. And all right, if you run into any trouble, let me know, and I'll be glad to jump in there and help you out with it too.
Okay.
I got a quick one there, Brian. I saw in your Lightburn that says 9.21.
Yes.
Is that beta, or did I miss a release to come out?
No, it's still in beta. All it's one of the big things it's getting is this. I think I showed them earlier. It's the adjust image. You can just right click and adjust image.
I was upset watching Chris's video from House of Lasers because it's not out yet.
Not quite. So, but it's close. Yeah, I'm watching too. So, we want to make sure that it's good. So everybody's testing it very thoroughly, because we like to make sure that everything's kosher before we send it out there, or they, not we. I'm on the beta program, but I have not sent them any feedback on it at all, just because everything seems to work.
I need to talk to Oz, tell him he needs another beta tester.
Right. Well, cool. All right, guys. I saw somebody else call in on the phone. I don't know if that's associated, but wanted to see if you had any questions or anything. It just says caller 2 there. Nope, caller 2 has left. See, nobody wants to talk to me today.
Scared him away.
I guess so.
Oh, just wait here a couple more weeks when I get mine. You'll get your ears full.
That's fine, man. That's what I'm here for. I'm looking forward to it. So, all right. Well, I guess if nobody has anything else, I'll kick this thing off of here and get back to my stuff.
Have a good one.
All right. Okay, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Ron.
Bye-bye.